Hey everybody, how's it going? Just putting together another live stream. Today we're going to be doing the test number 2 for the Juniper JNCDA, their design and architecture cert. So I'm just going to make sure everything's working up on the streams and stuff like that before we hop into it. And then just like the video I put out a couple days ago, we'll just get in and go through the practice test. So just give me a minute here. That is good to go. All right, so let's hop into it. As I mentioned before, when we were kind of looking at the Juniper Genius website, the one that we're doing is talking about architecture and design. So it's actually under the data center. Actually, no, I always do that. I always go under data center. I don't mean to do that. It's under the design certification track. There we go. Okay. And in the last video, we kind of went over the different modules that it covers, so I'm not going to go back through that. We'll just go ahead and get right into the test. All right, and so as always, it's 65 questions. I'll go through each of them. I'll pick the answer that I think that it's going to be and the reason why I think that is. And if I get it right, then awesome. If not, then we'll go over why the answer was wrong and what Juniper said the correct answer was. So let's see. We will hop into that. Here we go. All right. So question number 1. What describes customer business requirements? Vision of future growth, complexity of the existing network, size of the faculty, functionality of each module within a design. So I am going to say we'll go with vision of future growth. And we'll see how that is. Yep, correct. All right, number 2. What would be used to understand the types of applications on the network and how often those applications are used? A logical topology, trust and untrust zones, traffic flow analysis, and routing policies. So we're talking about the types of applications and how often they're used. That's going to be a traffic flow analysis. Cool. All right. Question 3. Well, we got some people over here joining on. Let's see. Yo, what's up, man? What's good? Let's see. You gonna pick up some network architecture and design tips here? That's pretty good. All right, let's see. Question number 3. Your customer has indicated that they are about to acquire another organization and integrate that acquisition into their corporation. Which 2 major areas must be examined as part of the network design? Choose 2. Let's see, we got scale constraints of existing hardware, okay, regulatory approval of the takeover, restructuring of staff responsibilities, or protocol incompatibilities. So since we're talking about network design, we can automatically say that regulatory approval is not really going to be it. And restructuring of staff responsibilities probably isn't going to be it. So let's go scale of constraints of existing hardware and protocol incompatibilities between the 2 organizations. Sweet. And not too much, man. Just hanging out. Got a little bit of a workout in a little while ago, and then hopping on here to go ahead and get through this test here for Juniper's architecture and design certification. So gonna do this one here, and then after this, then I'm gonna take the exam voucher test, which I'll probably do in the next few days. And then once you pass that, they give you a free voucher and you can go and take the certification. So it's actually pretty cool. I actually like the different components of this one so far. It's actually really, really good for like junior level network engineers who maybe kind of like, know how networking is supposed to function, but not necessarily how you would actually go about implementing like solutions in different environments and why you would want to add things for like continuity of service and redundancy and resiliency and stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool cert. Let's see. We got question 4. All right. Which 2 reasons show the importance of understanding a user's applications when designing a network solution? So we got the network engineer can infer traffic patterns. Network management can be optimized for specific applications. Quality of service can be optimized for specific applications. Network virtualization might not support all real-time applications. So the question is, what 2 reasons show the importance of understanding applications when designing a network solution? Well, quality of service can be optimized for sure, I think. Network virtualization might not support all real-time applications. I'm going to say that is definitely not it. Let's see, let's see, QoS for sure, definitely agree with that. And for the second one, I'm going to go traffic patterns. And we'll see. It could be this, but I think it's traffic patterns. Yep. Traffic patterns. So, yeah, so why is it not network management can be optimized? Because network management might just be referring to the management of the network devices themselves and not necessarily the specific applications. So if it was talking about application management, maybe, but I don't know. I think if you understand the application and the ports and protocols and kind of the way that it's initiated or responded to and how often the flow of traffic is and how much data is being transferred back and forth, then you're kind of inferring the traffic patterns. And then with that data, you could probably come up with, understanding what your solution needs to be for implementing, those specific applications. All right, let's see. Next question. Which 2 elements of customer data would you use to determine the applications that your customer uses most often? Which 2 elements of customer data would you use to determine the applications that your customer uses most often? Corporate policies? No. Interviews? Probably. Questionnaires? Possibly. Business goals? Applications that your customers use most often. I'm going to go with interviews and questionnaires. You're going to kind of get ground truth a little bit more with those. Let's see. Cool. Okay. Which design boundary is caused by the customer's existing physical environment? Marketing users are not permitted access to the company's financial servers. Current infrastructure lacks the media to interconnect buildings with each other. That sounds probably about right. Key stakeholders disagree on how the funding for a project should be spent. No. HTTP traffic is expected to increase on the network by 57% over the next 2 years. So I think the key word here is physical environment, right? So talking about lack of media between buildings to connect them, I think is probably why I'm going to go with that one. Cool. What are 2 popular WAN service offerings that you would use in your design? So, ArcNet? No. MPLS and VPNs? Yes. Token Ring? No. Sonnet and SDH? I think so. Let's see what they say. Cool. All right. You must provide role-based access to a particular network resource. Which equipment would you use to accomplish this task? Core router? No. Server load balancer? It depends on what rules you have in place. Network firewall or a SIM. So definitely not a SIM. That's going to be what you're going to use to monitor different types of security events based off of logs you have coming in. Core router, definitely not. Server load balancer is interesting because you can have different types of security features in a load balancer. And then network firewall, you can also implement different types of role-based access there. So I think the answer that they're going to want to go with is network firewall, although I would argue you could probably go with that one as well. Cool. Question 9. In a network design using the traditional tiered structure, which two tiers connect to untrusted domains? Okay, so untrusted domains is going to be like the internet, right? So definitely not your access layer. That's going to be like your LAN. Definitely not your core, because that's going to be what your access and distribution type of stuff connect to. That's still inside of your network. So definitely your WAN edge going out to the internet. And then your aggregation point, which could be part of your WAN edge or maybe part of different circuits that you have connecting to other locations. Since that's going to be going over a service provider's network, that could be considered untrusted. So let's go with those two. Ooh, okay. Let's see why I got that wrong. Interesting. I wonder if they are considering the access tier possibly because I don't know, maybe Wi-Fi coming in there. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that one again because I would have thought it would have been maybe aggregation, or I misunderstand what they mean by aggregation, which could be the case. All right, which subphase of the plan methodology must you do first? Assess, scope, design, or build. Well, design and build are definitely out of it. So when you're planning, are we going to assess? I think we're going to assess first. Could be scope, but I think we're going to assess. Yes, okay, cool. Which two items must be included in a RFP? Which two items must be included in a RFP include? Yeah, that's a weird way to write a sentence. But let's see, what goes into an RFP? List of design requirements, the new design for a network, an analysis of application behavior in your network, the types of solutions the design must provide. So a request for proposal. Let's go a list of design requirements and the type of solutions the design must provide. Cool. Which two items are key RFP elements? Physical design requirements, modular requirements, logical design requirements, connectivity, and throughput requirements. Let's go physical design requirements, right? You might have different locations and stuff like that you need to take into account. And modular requirements, no. Logical design requirements are really going to be more up to the person designing it. So let's go connectivity and throughput requirements, right? So they're going to tell you how much bandwidth they're going to need within the environment when you go to design the solution. Ooh, okay, let's see. So connectivity requirements, the modular and connectivity, I must not understand what modular requirements are. So I'll have to go back and read up on that. Unless they're kind of like combining those into modular requirements, I'm not sure. The business requirements RFP element contains which two items? Choose two. A summary of the type of business the customer is in, an explanation of why a new design is required, a detailed report that describes the facility specifications, the number of users and workstation requirements. So maybe those two, a summary of the type of business the customer is in, and an explanation of why the new design is required. I don't know if that's going to be talking like business drivers and stuff like that. Detailed report that describes the facility specifications doesn't seem to go necessarily under business requirements. And number of users and workstations, I don't think will go under business requirements either. I think that would kind of fall under the tech requirements. So, cool. The modular requirements RFP contains which two items? Hierarchical design considerations, number of wireless connections needed, traffic analysis, functionality of each module within the design. Let's go hierarchical design considerations. And functionality of each module within the design. I'm not sure about this one. I'm completely guessing on this, so we'll see. Whew, got it right. All right. 15. Which three options are effective ways of gathering data about the customer's current networking environment? Choose three. Questionnaires is good. Interviews are good. Don't think social media is a good way to get information about their current networking environment. And job aids. Cool. All right, I'm going to take a quick sip of water here because I've been talking for a bit. Yeah, let's see if there's any other comments anywhere. Looks like getting most of the comments over from Periscope, which is awesome because sometimes that doesn't work so hot with the software that I use. And I wonder if we're getting anything over... Not really seeing that on YouTube. Let's see if that's actually... Nope, not seeing any comments over there. Cool. All right. Let's hop back into that. So, question 16. What are two aspects of brownfield projects? So, if you remember in the last video when we talked about brownfield projects versus greenfield projects was when you don't have any existing software or equipment, right? So you're able to just build everything brand new. Where brownfield, you're kind of going into a situation where you have to integrate different technology with stuff that already exists in place. So, new networks with few or no restraints to consider. No, that would be greenfield. Old equipment that should be replaced. Yep. Legacy applications that are no longer used. Yep. And next generation networks created from the ground up. Nope, that's going to be greenfield. Cool. Customers determine the need to upgrade the network so that the packaging and shipping facilities can meet current demand. The customer has voiced concerns that the network design and implementation cannot affect current sales in any way. Okay, what are two ways to address this concern in your network design? So, the need to upgrade the network so that it can meet demands, but your design and implementation cannot affect the current sales in any way. So choose to create continuity plans, collect job aids, define security measures, analyze packet flow. So let's go with create continuity plans. Don't think collect job aids. Don't think define security measures. And we'll want to analyze the traffic that they have on the networks there. Let's see. Cool. What are two ways that a user's business model is important for network design purposes? Choose two. It suggests certain budgetary and scheduling constraints. It shows which vendors the user prefers. Definitely not that. It leads to customized application development, consulting requirements, or both. It allows the engineer to infer certain technical requirements. I don't know that the business model reflects certain budgetary and scheduling constraints. Maybe. It leads to customized application development or consulting. I don't know about that. I'm going to go the budgetary constraints and infer certain technical requirements. Cool. You are the network architect with a large banking institution with operations around the world. Any outage results in lost revenue for your company and may result in lost customers. Network uptime is your top priority. What should be your focus? Return on investment? No. Capacity planning? Nope. Business continuity? Yep. Server virtualization. So definitely business continuity. You want to make sure that everything stays up. You were asked to document the existing network and security infrastructure before design update project begins. Which 3 actions would be appropriate as part of your documentation process? Survey all data centers and wiring closets. It's not bad. Review the available documentation with security administrators. Review the available documentation with server administrators. Review available documentation with network engineers. Definitely that. Review available documentation with the purchasing department. So that could be interesting because you might have equipment that you've procured but haven't yet put in place, which is why I'm going to say that. Don't think it would be server administrators. Security administrators is interesting, but I think you'd rather know if you have equipment that's already been purchased and aren't, isn't being used, or stuff like that. So let's see if they ended up going security. Yeah, it's going to be security. Okay. So network and security administrators. I tried to argue that. Oh well. What can you do? So I guess security administrators, network administrators, and go around and look at all your data centers and wiring closets. You are the network administrator for a large university and are ready to upgrade your network. You want to solicit multiple vendors for design suggestions to help you define your plan moving forward. Which 2 methods should you employ? Publish an RFP to key vendors? I don't think so. Publish an RFI to key vendors? Possibly that. So difference between an RFP and an RFI. Request for proposal is when you're actually asking for specific things for a solution, and it will come with a cost, and it's much more determined, like you're ready at that point where you're ready to move forward. An RFI is a request for information, where you're kind of just throwing some stuff out there and you want to see what the vendors will provide back as far as, less specific solutions and stuff like that. But it gives you a good data points to see kind of, what's available, what's out there, what's their line of thinking with certain things. Attend an industry conference, or attend industry conferences. Require your reseller to submit a BOM. Well, BOM is bill of materials, so that would be like a list of a whole bunch of equipment and how much it's going to cost. Let's see, let's just make sure we get this. You're a large university, you're ready to upgrade. You want to solicit multiple vendors for design suggestions to help you define. That doesn't make sense because you don't really know what you're doing. So I'm going to say RFI and maybe industry conferences. Okay, there we go. You're kind of just getting your foot in the water there to kind of see what's out there and available from a design perspective. So you aren't really ready to move forward with anything. You're just trying to get some information. What are the first 2 steps of business continuity planning? Choose 2. Know your network, test a plan, formulate the plan, assess the risks. So first 2 steps, you got to know your network and you have to assess the risks. Then after that, you're going to formulate a plan and then you're going to test a plan. Okay. Which 2 statements are true in regards to the test a plan step of business continuity planning? Choose 2. You should test a plan hypothetically on paper. You should test a plan in full-fledged live exercises. Definitely want to do live exercises. You should only test a plan if the risk assessment shows that more than 10% of the customer's revenue is at risk. You should only test a plan if the risk is... Nah, I don't like either of those. I mean, I think you should always test your plan, no matter what. So I could see doing it on paper, and then also doing a live exercises as well. Yeah. Which two statements are true in regards to the solution overview section of an RFP? It contains the bill of materials. It's an overview of Juniper's value proposition to the customer. Definitely not that. It should outline the technical benefits of the proposed solution. It should address the customer's goals, scope, and requirements. So we're talking about the solutions overview. We're not going super in depth. So it should be an outline of technical benefits, and it should address the goal, scope, and requirements. Cool. What is the first step of Juniper recommended executive summary structure of an RFP? All right, of the executive summary. Identification of business benefits. Relevant supporting information outlining why the customer should choose your plan. Overview of your proposed solution. Introduction of the customer's need or problem. It's either going to be one of those. Overview of your proposed solution. Executive summary. Let's go introduction of customer's need or problem. Could be that, or it could be that. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think the proposed solution part would not be immediately in the executive summary. Executive summary, you're kind of laying out why you're there, right? Why you're there with the customer, what issues are they having, or the challenges that they have. What is the third step in Juniper's recommended executive summary structure for an RFP? Identification of business benefits, relevant supporting information of why the customer should choose your plan, overview of your proposed solution, introduction of the customer's need or problem. I think we're talking third step, overview of proposed solution. We'll see. Yep. Okay. What is the fourth step in Juniper's recommended executive summary structure? So we already did customer need, overview, relevant. Let's go relevant supporting information outlining why the customer should choose your plan. Cool. What should be the second item in your network design checklist? A validation process for analyzing customers' existing environment. A process for selecting protocols, address schemes, naming conventions, and so forth. Definitely not. That comes much later. A process for understanding the customer's business and technical goals. The steps for designing a network topology. No. So it's either going to be a process for understanding the customer's business and technical goals and a validation process for analyzing the customer's existing environment. I'm going to say you want to understand the business and technical goals first, and then you want to have a process for analyzing the environment. So I want to say that second. Cool. What are two primary characteristics of the core tier in network design? So the core tier is going to be pretty much where everything goes through within the environment, right? So you kind of have your access points, which are more at the layer 2 part, and then the core tier. So really you're looking about high performance and you need reliability. So we're going to skip over inspection and manipulation at that point. We'll see. Cool. All right, you are planning a data center deployment of Juniper Network switches interconnected into a virtual chassis fabric at 40 gigs per second. Which three choices are available to interconnect the switches within the 23 feet distance limitation imposed by the data center? Okay, so three different options here. Direct attach copper, active optical fiber, passive optical fiber, SFP, and Cat6e. So those are weird to me. Active optical fiber and passive optical fiber, I don't know that I remember seeing those terms. Cat6, SFP, and direct attached copper, just because those, I don't remember reading those. I could be wrong, but we're gonna give it a try. Yeah, okay, so let's see what we got. Direct attach copper, active optical fiber, passive. Okay. I'm gonna have to go read back up on that because I don't remember the differences between those. So, all right. Question 31. I'm gonna take another drink of water here because I've been talking for probably let's see, it's 6:31. Yeah, I've been talking for about half an hour. So, cool. Let's see. What are 3 environmental characteristics that affect the campus network design? Let's see. What are 3 environmental characteristics that affect the campus network design? Distribution of users? Yup. PC operating system? Nope. Transmission media characteristics? Sure. Location of wiring closets? Remote site connectivity. So I'm not going to go with remote site connectivity because we're talking about campus network design. So I'm going to go with these 3. We'll see. Cool. If we were talking about WAN type of stuff, I probably would have chosen remote site connectivity. What is the cost-effective cable solution to connect a building access switch to a building distribution switch at a distance of 400 feet, 120 meters? So, right off the bat, anybody know what the distance for twisted pair cabling is? Cat 5, Cat 6 cable. So it's 100 meters. So right off the bat, we know that twisted pair is not going to be it. Power cable is definitely not it. And we're kind of talking about a decent distance, right? I mean, 400 feet, it's not, you know, from here to the wall or whatever. So single mode fiber is going to be for longer distance. Multi-mode is going to be for shorter distance. Let's go single mode fiber. Ooh, are they going to go multi-mode? It might go multi-mode. Yeah, okay. So single mode is definitely for like really, really long fiber runs, like, you know, miles. Multi-mode definitely could handle 400 feet. So, all right. The answer in that case is multi-mode. You are asked to develop a high-level design to meet customer requirements to transition an aging switched infrastructure to a newer approach, meeting their needs for the next 5 years. In your presentation to the IT department, which 3 areas are important to define? Recommendation for internal gateway protocol timers. Definitely not. Business costs of not going forward? Maybe. Configuration stanza for class of service definition? Nope. Impact to business from an operations perspective? Yep. And cost of proposed solution. So, I mean, the thing here is we're talking high-level design, right? And costs and moving forward over the next 5 years. So, stuff dealing with routing protocols and quality of service stuff is not where that discussion is going. So, business costs, impact to business, and cost of the solution. In a virtual chassis fabric, which 2 platforms are supported? Virtual chassis fabric. So they do that with their switches. So the EX series is a switch, MX series is a router, SRX series is a firewall, and QFX series is their data center switches. So we'll go those 2. Okay. What are 2 valid reasons to enable route summarization? To benefit from a hierarchical IP addressing plan, to enable the use of more than one routing protocol, to reduce routing overhead, to reduce the coexistence of BGP with IGPs. to reduce routing overhead. I don't think that that's it. To enable the use of more than one routing protocol. I don't think that's it either. To benefit from a hierarchical IP addressing plan. So let's go with those two. Cool. On SRX series device, those are their firewalls. What are the 3 match criteria of a security policy? Choose 3. So it's not MAC address, it's going to be IP address, security zone, and application. Okay. You are designing a highly resilient network. Which 2 high availability techniques should you use? Hot swappable chassis components, redundant ACLs, redundant network interfaces, copper interfaces, or redundant network devices. Let's go redundant network devices and hot swappable chassis components. You are designing a highly resilient network. Which 2 high availability techniques should you use? Choose 2. Bit level redundancy, multiple physical uplinks, lags toward the LAN. That's where they group the physical interfaces together. Redundant REs for SRX devices. That is tough. High availability. Don't know that that's really going to be high availability per se. We have multiple physical uplinks. Redundant routing engines on the firewall is definitely something that you would want to do when you buy those. So let's go those 2. We'll see. It's going to be lags. So note that 2 REs can, let's see why this is wrong. 2 REs can be placed in a high-end SRX. However, the second RE does not act as a backup RE. Interesting. Okay. All right, so multiple physical uplinks and lags. In which 2 situations does power supply redundancy make sense in a network design? When using an SRX 320, when redundant power sources are not present on site, when redundant power sources are present on site. Yes, you don't want to have 2 power supplies and plug them into the same power source. That's not really going to do you too much. I mean, it will help you if your power supply burns out, but if you have an issue with the power source, then you're kind of screwed on both of those. So let's go redundant power sources. When a 2-device HA solution is not possible. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Which 2 statements are true regarding chassis clustering? Choose 2. So chassis clustering, you can do those on like the SRXs. The chassis cluster uses a control link between the 2 nodes. That is true. The chassis cluster uses FXPO link between the 2 nodes. The chassis cluster must contain 2 identical MX series devices. The chassis cluster must contain 2 identical SRX devices. I think we're going to go with the control link and the 2 SRXs. Let's see. Yes, cool. Click the exhibit button. Refer to the exhibit. Which 2 statements are correct in regards to VRRP? Okay, so we have an SRX, and we have a single switch that has 2 VLANs hanging off of it, another VLAN hanging off of the clustered SRX, and one ISP going one way and another ISP going the other way. All right, so let's see what we got. You should use VRRP on the SRX devices to the WAN connections. You should use VRRP on the SRX devices for users in Group A. You should use VRP on SRX devices for users in Group B or for Group C. So let's look at that again real quick. I'm going to say it only has one connection going to that guy. This guy has going to a switch. Let's go Group B and Group C. Let's see. Cool. And virtual router redundancy protocol. I think it's pretty much like the same thing as like HSRP that you might use on Cisco. So you have like a virtual IP address shared between two devices. Let's see. Click the exhibit. Which two statements are true in regard to VRP? Let's see if it's the same picture. Yep, same picture. Except only one ISP this time. And what? Group B is off of the switch, but A and C have connections to different SRXs. So choose two. You can use VRP on the SRX device to WAN connections. Sure, we can do that. You can use VRP. What was that other one that's coming off that EX? Group B. So we'll go WAN and Group B. Cool. What should you do to increase high availability in the network? So what? We got 2 cores here. I don't know if these boxes are supposed to mean that they're in a virtual chassis. But we got what? Connections from each of the access switches. Uplinks going to both the cores. The servers, though, only have connections going to an individual switch, but they do have dual connections. Let's see. Only pick one. Increase the number of connections between the core and access switches. I don't know. Make a connection between each access switch. Make a connection between each core switch. Connect each server to 2 access switches. I'm going to go with that one. Okay. Your corporate network is located in a single multi-floor building. Several small remote buildings connect to your main corporate network. Which topology describes your network? Several small remote buildings connect into your main corporate network. That kind of sounds like hub and spoke, since it's a main corporate network that they're connecting back into. Yep. A company asks you to develop a solution to provide secure access to the corporate network with a goal of providing a differentiated security policy per role and per device. What 3 measurements do you need to satisfy the company's requirement? Choose 3. They want a solution to provide secure access to the network, providing differentiated security policies per role and per device. The number of physical desktop ports, the number of power over Ethernet ports, the number of guest access users, the number of unmanned IP-enabled endpoint systems, number of wireless access points. Number of physical desk ports, the number of guest access users, and wireless. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Number of physical desktop ports, yep. The number of unmanned IP endpoints, okay. All right, we'll take that. All right, next question. Quick drink of water. We're almost there, only 20 more. Hope everybody's finding this this useful. Like I said, I really like this test and the stuff that it covers. It's a little bit different than kind of your normal vendor-based network certification training and stuff like that. That's really more about specific configurations and technologies and things like that. This, I think, does actually a really good job of laying out the particulars and the reasons why you design things in certain ways, especially when looking at wired versus wireless integration and, you know, different types of network designs, whether it's hub and spoke or full mesh or campus, stuff like that, and then kind of the different types of areas, both, you know, the internal and the LAN, that type of stuff. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Let's see. Next question. You are reviewing an existing corporate network design with a plan to reduce the number of data centers deployed by a customer. Which three considerations are relevant to this exercise? Choose three. Data repositories and distribution. Maybe. Data center interconnects, most definitely. Cable plant infrastructure. High availability considerations. Yep. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Let us zoom back out. Let's go cabling available in the building, so cable plant infrastructure. Okay, so let's see why we got that wrong. Data repositories and distribution. So I guess that would be where the data is. Data center interconnects, high availability. Okay, fair enough. You want to view logs and generate a basic usage report from network devices. Which three tools would you use to satisfy this requirement? You want to view logs and see usage stuff. Obviously, they're going to say Juno space log director. On-box logging. Third-party log management. I like those three. That sounds good to me. Cool. Network director is an example of what type of network management application? On-box, out-of-band, centralized, or off-script. So that is a centralized, right? Sending all of the logs back to it, I think. Let's see. Cool. You were asked to deploy VPNs in your network. What are two deployment models you would use? Site-to-site and hub and spoke, right? And both of those are probably going to be using IPsec. Let's see. Cool. You were asked to evaluate a WAN design for a corporation with a focus on cost, security, and the ability to have direct adjacencies between your remote sites. Which two solutions would meet these requirements? IPsec tunnels over the internet, GRE tunnels over the internet, MPLS layer 3 VPN, VPLS layer 2. Ooh, this is a good one. Direct adjacencies make it interesting. GRE tunnel provides no security. Direct adjacencies. I think you could do IPsec tunnels. Let's go those two. I'm rolling the dice on this. I'm a little bit unsure. We'll see. Yeah, okay. So VPLS provides some type of security feature that MPLS doesn't. I'm going to have to read up a little bit more on that just to make sure I understand why that was and that wasn't. But, okay. Which two statements are true in regards to network capacity planning? Choose two. The application behavior is important. Yes. application behavior, who's talking to who, how much data, how often, that type of stuff, which would make the second one not be an answer. The network management platform is not important. The network management platform is important. I think both of those are important, so we'll go like that. No? Are they, well, when determining network capacity, the application behaviors, obviously. The network management platform is not important when determining, yeah, maybe I don't understand what they mean by network management platform. I guess if they mean like an individual server or something like that that you're using, but I don't know. Does licensing for your network management platform fall under network capacity planning? Maybe. Well, not according to Juniper. So, all right. Next question. Let's see. All right. You are designing a network in which access between different groups must be tightly restricted. What should you do to accomplish this task? Use a firewall with security policies to control the traffic. Use a switch with layer 2 ACLs to control the traffic. Use a router with layer 3 ACLs to control the traffic. Use a web filtering device to control, I love all of these options. Well, maybe not that one. I definitely love layer 2 ACLs on switches, but that's not what they want you to go with the firewall. Yeah. You need to deploy an IPsec VPN technology that provides low application latency. So VPN with low latency when a remote office is communicating with another remote office. This solution must also provide low management overhead. Which IPsec VPN technology would you choose for this? AD-VPN? SSL VPN, full mesh VPN, hub and spoke VPN, AD VPN. I don't know why, but that just sticks out to me. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm right. Yeah, for some reason, AD VPN, when talking about low overhead and remote offices communicating with each other versus having to go back to the primary office, that seems to come up a lot. You must design a network that requires a VPN technology that employs low application latency between spoke devices. The customer also stated that they do not wish to use PKI certs as a form of authentication. Which VPN technology would you recommend? They don't want to use... is that the same again? We'll roll again with that. Maybe it's... Yeah. No. Is it SSL? Full mesh VPN. Right, it's low latency application between... But AD VPN requires PKI, whereas a full mesh VPN doesn't. So I guess full mesh VPN, you could use pre-shared keys. Okay, cool. Which Juno space application can be used to manage the security features of an SRX device? Very easy to remember this. Whenever talking about SRXs, they're firewalls. Firewalls are related to security. Juno Space Security Director. Cool. What are two advantages of using a out-of-band management network? Out-of-band management network, two advantages, so we're picking two, okay. An OOB management network is more reliable than an in-band management network? I don't know, that depends on how you have it set up and if you have QoS, stuff like that. An OOB management network is less reliable. Oh man, they're gonna want me to pick one, okay. Well, it's gonna be more reliable since it's not, you aren't contending with the data plane traffic. An OOB management network requires higher bandwidth requirements than an in-band management network. Nope. Can function with lower bandwidth. Yep. Okay. Your customer has deployed Juniper devices and network devices from other vendors in their network. They would like you to propose a data correlation. Deploy Juniper devices and network devices from other vendors. Hello, Cisco. They would like you to propose a data correlation and logging solution that will work with Juniper devices as well as network devices from other vendors in their network. Which solution would you propose in this situation? Security Director logging and reporting, Contrails Cloud. Nope. Juniper Secure Analytics. Connectivity services. I feel like Juniper Secure Analytics takes in a whole bunch of stuff and is almost like a SIM. So that's what I seem to remember. We'll see if I got it right. Yes. Okay. To be honest, I don't know anybody who has that. I've never seen that in use anywhere. So if anybody has used Juniper Secure Analytics, drop a comment down below because I'm interested to knowing what you think about it if you like it, because I've never seen it. You are planning to upgrade the core network infrastructure at your corporation. This update will require a number of advanced features to support your requirements. You do not want any proprietary protocols in the new design. Which 3 technologies would you include in the design? Well, Ether channel is out. Oh, hey. You've never seen it. No, honestly, I've never seen it. I've had my Juniper sales reps bring it up before, and they're always trying to push like the Juno space and stuff like that. And I actually work in it, on some projects that have a large amount of Juniper devices, but we don't even use like the Juno space or the security director or anything like that. Honestly, I'm a big fan of SolarWinds. I think you could do a lot of cool stuff with that, with the NPM functionality and then NCM and stuff like that. So at some point, I am going to try the Juno space stuff and see how that is. I did hear that the security director is really helpful from the perspective of managing like IDP rules and exemption lists and stuff like that across multiple firewalls. So that's kind of the avenue, I think, or the first reason why I would end up going with that stuff. But yeah, the other one, never seen it anywhere. Maybe it's good. Maybe we all just don't know how awesome it is. But I don't necessarily know why you would go and spend the money on that versus like just Splunk or something like that. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they'll give it away for free. Let's see. Yeah, buy enough SRXs and then give it away for free. That would be awesome. All right. So what we're talking about, we don't want proprietary protocols in the new design. So Ether channel is a proprietary protocol. MACsec is not. VPLS is not. VXLAN. Oh, dang it. I did it again. VXLAN or Fabric Path? I'm going to go VXLAN. Could be wrong. Oh, I'm right. Okay, yeah. Pretty sure Fabric Path and Ether channel were Cisco stuff. Okay. What are 2 benefits of the virtual chassis fabric technology? And virtual chassis fabric is what they use to combine 2 switches together into one. Cool thing with that is you can get rid of all of your spanning tree from that point below. So, multiple devices are interconnected into a single logical device. Yep. It supports up to 10 gig interfaces. It supports up to 40 gig interfaces. I'm going to say, especially since they're doing that on their QFX stuff, data center, that you're going to be able to use up to 40 gig interfaces. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, 5 questions left. Your customer is building a new data center and the applications require very low latency. Which fabric architecture would you recommend? Hub and spoke? Spine and leaf, 3-tier, 4-tier. I think spine and leaf. That seems to stick out in my head. But that could be wrong. We'll see. Okay, cool. Your customer's new data center contains network devices from multiple vendors. You have been asked to propose 2 technologies that will work among all the vendors' networking equipment. Which 2 technologies can you recommend? Well, that's easy, especially considering the last question that we had a few back. So MACsec definitely. Cisco Discovery Protocol is not going to be it. By the way, turn that off on all of your devices. You can disable that globally. No need for that. Only leads to bad things. VXLAN for sure, and EIGRP is a Cisco internal gateway protocol, so we won't be using that. All right. Your customer's new network contains network devices, so same thing. Which 2 technologies can you recommend? Dynamic trunking protocol, DVMRP, PIM, IGMP v2. Ooh. For some reason, I think that dynamic trunking protocol, I think, is a Cisco thing. I don't ever remember seeing that on the Juniper EX switches. IGMP v2. I'm going to go DV, MRP, and PIM, but I'm not 100% sure on this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, dynamic. I don't remember what that is. Ugh. Oh well. But so PIM and IGMP v2. Multicast stuff. Cool. All right. Same thing again. All right. Which 2 technologies could you recommend? So LLDP. IGRP is going to be with Cisco, so then you get down to your spanning tree stuff that you can do. Per VLAN spanning tree, I believe, is a Cisco thing, so let's go rapid spanning tree. Yes. Okay. Oh, same thing again. Man, they're really, really running it out here with these. Which 2 technologies? So VTP is Cisco. Turn that off too. And actually, that they changed. You can actually now really turn that off. It used to be that you had to go and use, what was the mode, where it would receive updates but not actually do anything with them. I think it starts with a T. I could be wrong, but there's 3 modes of it. You'd end up not passing any stuff out, or you would still pass yours out, but you wouldn't actually implement anything that you received. They've now changed that where you can turn VTP all the way off, so do that. You're gonna get yourself in trouble if you don't. MSTP, IGMP v3, and CGMP. I'm gonna not go with that. Multiple spanning tree and IGMP. Okay. And the last one, which is easy to remember. Which data exchange format does Juniper use? They love YAML, yet another markup language. But, so not JavaScript, not Visual Basic, not Pascal. All right, let's see if I passed. I think I needed 70%. Dun, da, da, da. Let's see. Cool, almost 82. Awesome. So I hope that that was useful and interesting, even for folks who maybe aren't going after the certification. If you aren't going after the certification, maybe it would interest you to be something that you might want to look at. You know, like I said, I think it covers a lot of cool topics, especially from the perspective, kind of like you saw there at the end. They really were hitting on non-proprietary stuff, and so it's really good to know all that stuff, especially if you're working in an environment that has more stuff than just Cisco stuff, or if you're looking to get away from just being in a completely Cisco environment, or even from the perspective of servers and other types of devices that connect into Cisco devices, what type of open standard stuff, non-proprietary stuff can you use to connect to the Cisco devices. So I think all of that is all good stuff to know. So I'll see. Anybody have any questions before I hop off here? I'll give you like 15 seconds here to see if anybody wants to drop any questions. If not, then we'll wrap it up. No, it doesn't look like it. Cool. Well, I appreciate everybody stopping in and dropping comments. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Hit me up on Twitter if you got any questions. And talk to everybody soon. All right. Bye.